journalist. I'm thankful to God I was able to keep that promise. I believe to whom much is given, much is required. Plus, it feels so good when you're able to help people. Now, I've been in broadcast news for over a decade now, and it's been a rough journey. From constant deadlines to backstabbing to always being under a microscope. It has been and continues to be a journey, but a blessing that I count all joy. Some of my greatest lessons have come from my work and the people I've met along the way. From talking to the family of murder victims and other violent crimes, to talking to national, state, and local politicians, to covering budget cuts at schools, to learning how to do the Dougie and the Cupid shuffle from a young girl at a festival. How about that? To learning how to scuba dive with students at the city pool, to witnessing a true miracle at sea. The safe discovery of 2 missing teens after a week lost at sea. All of the stories I've covered have been growing tools for me. I see every opportunity as a chance to grow, to become better than I was yesterday. A chance for me to rise higher. I've learned along the way the best way to enhance your own life is to do what you can to contribute to someone else's.
That's right.
Who am I? A poor little black girl from Almondale, South Carolina, who has had the honor and privilege to have a former First Lady, presidential candidate, and now Secretary of State Hillary Clinton pour me a glass of water. Have casual conversations. Ask me about my day, my family, my future. A poor little black girl from Almondale. A poor little black girl who has audacity once again to believe in myself. Now I stand here before you this afternoon a proud, faith-filled African-American woman on the shoulders of phenomenal pioneer women, from the heroism and bravery of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth to the unbreakable resolve and humility of Rosa Parks and Coretta Scott King. Women who have paved the way for us all, who went through countless struggles to light the torch for future generations, that torch that many women struggle to carry on this very day. Now imagine the strength, will you, the bravery and faith it took for Sojourner Truth, an African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist, once a slave, to stand up and deliver what is known today as the Ain't I a Woman speech at the Women's Convention in Ohio in 1851. It went something like this. She stood there and said, and that little man in black there, he says women can't have as much rights as men because Christ wasn't a woman. Well, where did your Christ come from? From God and a woman. Man had nothing to do with him. If the first woman God ever made was strong enough to turn the world upside down all alone, these women together ought to be able to turn it back. Imagine the face of Harriet Tubman, who after escaping from slavery into which she was born, made life-threatening missions to rescue slaves to the Underground Railroad, and became known as Moses. Up until the time she died, she stood on faith. Imagine the bravery it took to march for equality and face death at any given moment. An American author, activist, and civil rights leader, the widow of Martin Luther King Jr., Coretta Scott King, helped lead the African-American civil rights movement in the 1960s. You can rise high and soar like Elizabeth Bexley Coleman. She was the first African-American female pilot and the first woman pilot to hold an international pilot license. All of these women are of great strength, fortitude, compassion, and unwavering spirit. You know, an author once wrote, "We are the budding branches nourished by our ancestors' roots. From the abolitionist movement to the suffrage movement to the civil rights movement, the stories of African-American women are forged in the fires of hard work and determination in the face of struggle and in seemingly insurmountable odds. For centuries, African-American women have been remaking the world, giving testament to the power of hope, courage, and resilience, and it continues today. Today, our nation's first African-American First Lady, the always beautiful, always radiant, always regal, Michelle Obama, is a symbol of strength, fortitude, and courage." Now, one of the definitions for the word rise, to get up after falling or being thrown down. Now, at some point in all of our lives, we have experienced falling or being thrown down, whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional state. But we get back up again. We have to. The dictionary defines shine to make glossy or bright by polishing. Simply put, you have to work to make anything shine. Now I challenge you today to rise higher and shine brighter. Thomas Edison once said, "Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and it looks like work. You know, when you're climbing that ladder, there are going to be people that will try to, you know, push you back. Some are so clever and may even disguise themselves as your friends. Some will use their feet to kick you off the ladder completely. All with a smile on their face. I believe the young people call them what? Haters? Right. Well, they will tell you, no, you can't do that. You can't attain this degree. That's too much work. How will you pay for it? Or no, you can't save $1 million in the bank. Impossible. How will you live? That's impossible. No, you can't be the president of a Fortune 500 company. You don't have the right pedigree. No, you can't be a news anchor. Who do you think you are? You speak with an accent. No, you can't be the next president of the United States. Look at where you come from. Well, I'm going to need you all to do me a favor, and when the haters come at you and tell you no, because you know they will, you reverse that. You flip them to ON, because it's on from that point. I know that's right. That's when you work even harder. That's when you buckle down and study without ceasing. That's when you cut corners and don't worry about what everyone else is driving or wearing to save money. That's when you remain focused on your goal. That's when you go full throttle to reach the top. And you know what? Listen to me now. When you get there, that's when you reach your hand back down to pull the very same everybody. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Your blessing will come. It's on. Ride higher, shine brighter. If you want that master's or doctorate degree, step out in faith and go for it. If you know you deserve that position on your job, ask for it. If you've been dreaming of owning your own home, fulfill it. But above all else, pray on it. I was the MC at an NAACP function a few weeks ago, and the speaker said, you know, we all have heard that old saying, if someone is hungry, give them a fish and they can eat for a day. Teach them to fish and they will never be hungry again. Yeah. But how about show them how to buy the property to hold the pond? And that would benefit everybody. Now we can be strong women of faith, wives, mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends, and at the same time we can own our own companies, lead major universities, anchor network news, soar into outer space, develop cures for deadly diseases, lead congregations, lead the U.S. Supreme Court. When major sporting titles become billionaires, all things are possible. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once wrote, do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave your own trail. You know who I am. You know who I am. I've told you who I am. You know whose shoulders we stand on. I've told you that also as well. The question is actually, who are you? That's right. Are you ready to rise higher? God gave us all unique gifts. We all have at least one. It's your duty to pray to God to ask Him to show you what yours is, develop and nurture it, and then use that gift to uplift His word and uplift His people. One of my favorite poems written by Arthur Pearl Creech is called We Speak Your Names. Allow me, if you will, to read some of it right now. Because we are free women, born of free women, who are born of free women, back as far as time begins, we celebrate your freedom. Because we are wise women, born of wise women, who are born of wise women, we celebrate your wisdom. Because we are strong women, born of strong women, who are born of strong women, we celebrate your strength. We are here to speak your names. Because we have enough sense to know that we do not spring full-blown from the forehead of Zeus. We know that we are walking in footprints made deep by the confident strides of women who parted the air before them like the forces of nature that you are. We are here to speak your names because of the way you made for us, because of the prayers you prayed for us. We are the ones you conjured up, hoping we would have strength enough and discipline enough and talent enough and nerve enough to step into the light when it turned in our direction and just smile a while. We are the ones you hope would make you proud because all of our hard work makes all of yours part of something better, truer, deeper. Something that lights the way ahead like a lamp unto our feet, as steady as the unforgettable beat of our collective heart. We speak your names. We speak your names. Question is, how will future generations speak our names? You can't help what people say about you, but I pray that when I go home to be with my Savior, and I can no longer speak for myself, I don't want people to simply say, she was an anchor, or she worked here and was a member of this or a member of that, or received numerous awards. Those things are nice, don't get me wrong. But when future generations speak my name, Octavia Mitchell, I would pray, they say, when they saw me, they saw a woman striving to live for God, a woman who loved her community and wanted to help people, a woman who stood on faith. We've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. The work continues every day. But like the old hymnal says, I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. We can thank God for where we've come from, where he has us today, and by the grace of his holy, beloved name, we thank him for where he will take us by his loving grace and mercy. Stay strong, my sisters. Now, as I prepare to take my seat, I want to let you know about this a wonderful thing that happened to me earlier this week, and I want to share it with you. I was in the drive-thru line at Chick-fil-A. Sorry. I usually go to McDonald's, but I was at Chick-fil-A. I was heading to a school one morning, and I pulled up to the window, and the cashier said, "Oh, you don't have to pay." I said, "What are you talking about?" And she said, "Because the lady in front," she said, she sees God in you every morning when she turns on the TV. You're her favorite anchor, and she's your #1 fan. She paid for your food." Amen. I was so overwhelmed by that, that that kind act, that simple, that single kind act, selfless, because she left before I could even acknowledge her or thank her properly. Wow. So what I did to thank her, I paid for the car behind me. And I pray that that continues for a while. But it took that single, simple, kind act, genuine act of kindness to start that. I tell you what my grandmother told me time and time again, if God is for you, who can be against you? By faith, I believe with God all things are possible. By faith, I believe we all can rise higher and reach the top. If I get there before you, hear me now, if I get there before you, rest assured, I will reach back and help you out as well. I just pray you will do the same for me. Thank you, and God bless.